Hi, I'm Kara Spizaka. I'm a journalist at Screen Australia, so I create features and podcasts for Screen News, which you can find on the Screen Australia website. I'm joined here today by two of my colleagues from Screen Australia to talk about a form of funding that we have called Enterprise. So if you're not sure what Enterprise is, or you want to apply and you want some tips about what Screen Australia is or isn't looking for, then stay tuned. We've been sent some questions in the lead up to this from people outside the agency, so we'll be getting to those shortly. But if any questions do crop up while we're talking, feel free to post them in the comments or to email them to screenaustralia.gov.au. So for any of our Facebook followers who don't actually know what Screen Australia is, aside from that squiggly blue logo that appears before all of your favourite film and TV shows, we're a federal government agency and we support film, TV and online projects. So some of the recent ones that you might have heard of would be Lion, Ladies in Black, and Mystery Road, the TV series, and Bluey, the children's animated TV series, which was actually created by Ludo Studio, a former recipient of the Enterprise funding, which we'll be talking about today. So my colleagues here, Nerida Moore and Bali Pada, are from the development team at Screen Australia. So before we get into it, a bit about yourselves. Bali, you first.
Sure. My name is Bali Pada. My role is Industry Development Executive at Screen Australia, and I sit inside the development unit. My role is to manage the enterprise funding program and also work across the agency's diversity and inclusion programs as well. My background, I was a sort of a multidisciplinary person in the industry, arts and screen. So I started out as a performer, being a freelancer, producing theatre, online content, doing development as well, and a lot of diversity-based consultation and advisory work. And I started this role in November last year. And I'm really passionate about our industry, about seeing it innovate and evolve, and also about career development as well.
And Nerida?
I am currently the head of development, and the development department helps to develop projects, drama projects, as well as talent. And now we are looking after the enterprise program, so it's a great opportunity for us to connect people and projects and businesses together and find those synergies. It's really exciting.
And so we're going to be talking about enterprise funding today, which is different from your typical production or development funding. So, Bali, what is enterprise?
Good question. So enterprise funding is a funding program that is delivered in the form of a grant. And it is designed, I guess the purpose of it is to make sure that we are developing a highly innovative, creative and sustainable screen industry here in Australia. It does sit in two streams, so we've got enterprise people and enterprise business and ideas. And enterprise people is for screen practitioners, any screen creative role who wants to undertake a placement or any other activity such as engaging a consultant or mentor or any professional development opportunity to look at assisting and supporting screen creatives to develop a sustainable screen career in Australia. And then enterprise business and ideas is for our screen entities. So entities being, you know, a company, a business, a sole trader, partnership, trust. No, not a trust actually, not for profit. A trust is the one that we don't engage with. So it's for those screen entities who have a proposal to innovate and develop and help the sector evolve, to engage other consultants or mentors to build their businesses, or even bringing on board a new person with highly experienced skills into their business as well.
And so there are a number of aims with enterprise, but Nerida, could you maybe highlight a couple of the key ones?
Sure, and I would urge everybody to go onto the website and have a look at the guidelines for the full list, but certainly we are looking at proposals which are going to innovate and provide something new. It's not business as usual, as it were. We're also looking for proposals which will benefit the company or applicant entity, but will also provide ongoing benefits for the wider industry. We are also including in everything that we do now at Screen Australia, we're looking for gender equity as well as inclusivity and diversity. And that is because it's the right thing to do, but it makes good business sense because we've got audiences which are fragmenting. We've got fabulous storytellers in Australia with really interesting, distinctive stories to be told. So why wouldn't you bring people in behind and in front of the camera as well as into your business structures?
And so, Barley, can you tell us a little bit about the application process?
So there are multiple elements to each of those streams of funding. So enterprise people, you can, as I said before, access consultation or a mentor or any other professional development opportunity. You can undertake a placement with an Australian-based production company or any sort of professional development placement in Australia or internationally. So we do break those apart, plus targeted placement initiatives, which we'll do on a call-out basis. So that'll be advertised more through our newsletter. And subscribe, yes. So they're all a single stage application process. And the enterprise business and ideas, most of them are single stage applications. So again, undertaking a business plan or a strategic plan, consultants, mentors, a company placement, so bringing someone on board into your company that is a missing set of skills that you need to help build your business. However, the bigger pot of money in there, which is the business or idea proposal, which is up to $400,000 over 2 years, that one is split into 2 stages. Now, stage 1 for all of them is that it's a pitch video or a written pitch, and we do highlight exactly what we're looking for in that pitch on our website, so do make sure you're reading our application form really well, and some key questions that help us just assess what you're proposing, plus any required submission materials as well. So we've taken on a lot of feedback from the industry about, trying to simplify our application process. For the business or idea proposal, that bigger pot of money, if you're approved, so it's roughly a 4-week turnaround on decisions. If you're approved from stage 1, you're invited into stage 2, and you've got 3 months to deliver a stage 2 application, which will be, your wider business plan, your full budget, your KPIs, anything that we need to be reporting against in terms of your funding proposal. And in that 3-month window, we have created a program called the Enterprise Exchange. Now, it's a pilot program where we are offering support through expert consultants to those applicants. So the idea is that a stage 1 applicant comes in and we're like, yep, we like that idea. Maybe it could do with some more work. And so either the applicant can indicate in their form there are these key areas that they want some further consultation with, or we will also indicate that, yeah, we love it, but we want to see you, work on these areas of your proposal. So we will engage consultants to work with those people in the Enterprise Exchange to deliver a really solid stage 2 application. Now, again, that goes through an assessment process of a turnaround of roughly 4 weeks. So there's no guarantee of funding if you do go through stage 1, but we wanted to build in some value add into that process by providing a level of expertise into that application stage. So yeah. And then after that, if you're approved and contracting starts, then you're off to change the world. You're off to change the world and the industry.
And so as well, the other reason that we're talking about enterprise is that there are a number of changes to the guidelines for applicants. So Nerida, can you highlight some of those key ones?
Sure, and help me if I forget any. But the biggest changes are that we are open all year round for applications for both enterprise, business and ideas, and people. There is no eligibility requirements. You have to meet our terms of trade, but in terms of meeting eligibility, that's not on the cards anymore. We do ask people to be strategic though. You need to be competitive about how you meet the aims and criteria of the fund. We can do both local placements as well as international placements through the enterprise people. And also we have opened up applications, particularly for enterprise people, for both above the line. So traditionally, Screen Australia has supported writers, directors and producers, but also we're now able to support those positions below the line. So you can undertake a placement with a head of department, for example, in a below the line position.
Yeah. Camera, editing, sound, art department.
Many options.
Yeah, we're looking at the whole screen ecosystem here. And another thing is that we also have some flexibility with those placements now. So we also now offer, will allow for part-time placements as well. So that's taking into account, you know, any caring responsibilities, cultural duties, all of those sorts of elements. Again, lots of feedback from the industry in terms of undertaking placements just being locked down to full-time. Now they can be part-time.
And with that, the focus on gender equity, diversity, inclusion, what does that actually mean in reality for someone who's applying for enterprise, Bali?
So it's one of several aims of the fund. So to, I guess, capitalise on the business benefits and, I guess, business and commercial benefits and opportunities that gender equity, diversity and inclusion can provide to the industry and to people's businesses as well. So we want to make sure that what we're funding and what we're looking at doing is creating a more inclusive system, an ecosystem within the screen industry. And really, you know, there are significant opportunities available from that as well about diversifying your stories, creating opportunities for new ideas as well to come to fruition and to attract new audiences as well. And more audiences, hopefully more eyeballs and more money.
Win-win.
Yes.
And so what then aren't you looking for? Nerida? Any thoughts?
I think we can summarise it as that we're not looking for business as usual proposals. We really are asking people to recognise the changes that are coming down the pipeline, but to see those changes as opportunities and to embrace them and to find ways and means of continuing to create content, but look at different ways of monetising and financing and producing according to the opportunities that are coming down the line now.
So we're now into the Q&A part of this Facebook Live chat about enterprise funding. And I'm going to throw now to some questions that were emailed in earlier in the lead up to this. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to post something in the comments or to email screennews@screenaustralia.gov.au. But some general questions first, and then we'll look at enterprise people and then enterprise business and ideas. So, general questions. A really nice quick one. Where do you go to apply?
To our website, screenaustralia.gov.au, and then you go into funding and support in the menu, and industry development is your key area, and you've got people, then business. So enterprise people's under people, business and ideas is under business.
Pretty self-explanatory there, yeah. And do you need to touch base with Screen Australia before you apply?
No. If you've got questions, you can contact Program Operations about the process and any of the guidelines questions that you may have. But because we've opened up eligibility, that there is no eligibility, we've got the two-stage process. At that first stage, if we need to engage with you in a conversation, we can, but otherwise just make an application.
Yeah, just make sure you're meeting the aims of the fund, that you're addressing those, you're addressing the assessment criteria, and make a solid case for your application. So there's no need to call in and go, hey, I'm looking at applying, heads up. We'll see it when it comes through.
Yeah. And also, just a reminder for everyone, the pages that Bali mentioned, there are also frequently asked questions on there.
Yeah.
So it's a really handy resource if you want to go through and just read some of the ones that Screen Australia has compiled for that. So another question that came through was, can you apply for enterprise if you have received enterprise funding in the past?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. We're not disbarring anybody as long as they've got a fabulous proposal and it's building towards greater benefits to themselves as well as the industry. Absolutely, we can look at it.
Yep.
And what about if you want to apply for more than one branch of funding? So say you want to apply for a business plan and a company placement.
Yeah, you can apply for multiple elements at the same time. So you would just put in a separate application. We would just say, think really strategically about what you're applying for and when. So the key things that we're interested in, again, meeting the aims of the fund, addressing the assessment criteria, and you tell us why you, why now, why this, and that's really important for an application.
And so you were saying before that there's a 4-week turnaround in terms of there being a decision. Do you get any feedback with that decision?
You'll get a statement of reasons against the criteria if you're declined, and certainly you'll get a happy email if you get through to the second stage or if you're funded. But you will get a statement of reasons. We won't be able to enter into any more discussion. Again, that's the kind of balance that we have to make in terms of throwing open eligibility.
Yeah, so we're already getting a large number of applicants. So that's the payoff. The trade-off there is that yes, we're opening the doors quite wide, but it just also means that there's a lot of work. And if we were to feed back on all of those applicants, we wouldn't actually be able to fund fund anyone.
And so, who actually assesses the applications?
Well, we have a mixture of internal and external assessors through the enterprise program. So there'll be Screen Australia staff, plus we'll also engage external specialists or consultants that have a unique perspective to assess those particular proposals when they come through.
Another general question that's come through from Facebook: is there support available for applicants, especially relating to meeting the clarifying criteria?
What does that mean?
I think that perhaps is related to, again, like, is there anyone that if they do have some questions and they want those questions answered, is there any kind of support available at Screen Australia? Is there someone they can talk to about that?
Yeah, so definitely call our program operations team. They're the first port of call, and they're a great team that are across all of our funding programs. So they'll be able to clarify any questions you have about the aims of the fund, the assessment criteria. If you've got a unique situation that you're trying to figure out if it fits the program, then you can call and they'll be able to answer your question. If it's really tricky for them, then they'll put you through to us and we'll be able to answer that question as well. So if you do have questions and making sure that you want to try to put in your best application, then totally feel free to get in touch.
Another question that we've had come through is about someone wanting to know about the type of things that are included in the other professional development category within Enterprise People's creative career development strand of the fund. Barley, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we have kept that open, not to be vague, but just to go, well, there could be many opportunities out there that even we may not know of internationally, globally. But that could be, for example, undertaking a strategic career plan for yourself as an individual. Now, I was a freelancer for 10 years, and I kind of imagine if I had someone that I could sit with and map out my career for the next 5 to 10 years and work out strategically what are the actions I need to take, the goals and everything, and how much I should be charging, and when I should be raising my fees, all of that sort of stuff. So that could be an opportunity that you want to engage someone for professional development around that. Or if it's a unique, opportunity or workshop that is presented, something that probably has had a highly competitive process and you've gotten into that, and it's a significant opportunity for professional development because you're going to be working with ex-producer from Hollywood or wherever, or London, who's won many awards and knows the business back to front. So this is a unique opportunity here.
But I might also add, and not to be a downer on that, we are still looking at why you, why this, why now.
Exactly.
So we're looking at where you are in your career in regards to the opportunity of the professional development opportunity that's coming through. So, for example, if you've done a couple of short films and they've hit a couple of smaller festivals, you're probably not going to be competitive in terms of putting in an application, even with the development opportunity. So you're going to have to think, why this opportunity, and why is it important now?
We've had another one come through on Facebook. It's just asking if you could describe examples of innovative projects and what that actually means when you say that you want something to be innovative.
And it's a catchphrase, and we know that we're using the word very broadly, and it's difficult when we're trying not to give examples, but certainly we are seeing, we think that there are opportunities in the space of distribution and reaching audiences. We think that there are opportunities in the way that story, intellectual property is created and then stretched across platforms, and how that builds audiences and creates monetization. So it's those kinds of bigger thinking, without being absolutely too specific, that we are hoping people are going to start to engage with.
Yeah, well, I mean, these sorts of examples we are seeing being done around the world, but for some reason they're not really happening here. And so that's, and we're seeing success with some of those models, such as stretching IP across multiple platforms, and what does that mean for how you develop programs and then projects, and then eventually produce them because you've got an audience for them. So perhaps something like that. And it's also, you know, innovation is about transforming as well. So transforming doesn't mean just changing what's already existing. It's about creating something completely new as well. Obviously, there are parameters within our industry that you need to operate within. But, you know, if we were to say this is innovative, we would probably just go ahead and do it ourselves. So, you know, sometimes we want people to come and surprise us as well.
Yeah. And so are you able to help people broker a placement with a company? Is Screen Australia able to help with that?
Well, with the targeted placement initiatives, we do set up those relationships. So, for example, we've done it with Lynn Pictures and Scott Free.
Those are the ones where you do like a call out, that's in the newsletter?
Yeah, so that'll be on a call out basis, and we are about to, we're currently setting up those relationships now with other international companies to host Australian practitioners. For a career placement, we would look at that applicant coming to us with almost an established relationship with someone, like, you know, beyond a coffee, but not necessarily already working for them. So if an applicant has an idea to undertake a career placement, and they have specific goals in mind, and they've approached a company, and, you know, they've had a discussion, and that they've got a bit of an agreement with, yeah, this sounds about right, it sounds like a right fit, then you come to us with an application.
So no, we won't broker.
But we won't broker that relationship though. So that is, we want to make sure that people are also empowered to go out and do that themselves, and that's the key thing, is empowering the individuals to go and create those relationships. Show us that you've done that, that you're capable of that, and then we'll work with you if you get funded through a career placement.
And so, if on the topic of placements and enterprise people, if someone has more than one placement that they want to do, can they apply twice in two separate applications?
They could, but it would be very unstrategic potentially to do that. So the placements are really, the aims of them are to help propel and launch people into ongoing careers, and certainly doing placement after placement is, it's not a career move as such. And also we would be suggesting that you shouldn't compete with yourself with multiple applications. And it also shows us potentially that your strategy is a little bit loose and wild.
Yeah, perhaps the strategy is too small, but, you know, yeah, we haven't designed this program to build a reliance on us to continually manage or fund people's careers. It's about setting you up, putting you on the launch pad, and make sure you pick the right launch pad for yourself, and then hopefully the idea is that we fund you jetting off from that launch pad into your own sustainable career.
And another one from Facebook. From an enterprise plan, can the content produced be just for online distribution, or would the selection process bias to projects that end up on traditional media, your film and television?
It just has to make sense. It can be on any platform, or it can be targeted at a specific platform. It just needs to make sense in terms of the way you're building your business, you're accessing audience, and you're creating content and monetizing.
Make money, please.
And so for enterprise business and ideas, are you funding any slates for production companies?
We can fund slates, but again, we would be looking at what are you doing differently in regards to either the development, the producing, the financing, and then the distribution of the projects on that slate to audiences. So yes, we can, but again, there has to be something different in the way that you're doing and delivering.
Yeah, again, that catchphrase, not business as usual. Yeah, we want people to create projects, but show us that you're delivering or undertaking that process in a new, innovative way that does capitalise on new and potential success that way.
We're down to our last couple of questions before we run out of time, but another one from email is, does the mentor need to be in place prior to applying under People?
Yes.
Yeah, so because you need to indicate that this is the right mentor for you at this time, then yes, you do need a mentor. So again, go out there, find out who's out there doing amazing things that you feel is the right kind of, I guess, career trajectory that maybe you want to emulate or model or take
The path that you want to go down?
Yeah, take some inspiration from. It might take a while for you to establish that relationship with them if they're unknown. But yeah, that will be key actually to your application.
And they need to be willing, of course.
Yeah, and that mentor needs to be willing, definitely.
Yeah, kind of a key thing.
Yeah.
Another one for business and ideas. How much detail do you want in the budget when you're applying?
So top line, basically, top line detail. So I think currently we're asking for just a maximum of 10 budget line items, but do break it down into years. But yeah, you can go top line, and in the notes column, you can give us a little bit more detail and information in there, especially if you've got other contribution, if that's in kind or cash or your own or where it's coming from. But yeah, simple is key, but also enough detail so that we really understand the sustainability and viability of your proposal.
Another one for People. This is probably our last question. So if someone isn't going to find out whether they have a particular opportunity until, say, a week or 2 weeks before they need to be there, should they just apply now just in case they get it?
They can apply, they would take the risk. As long as they can apply before the opportunity arises, they would then take the risk, they would have to cash flow the opportunity, and then we would do our best to turn it around as soon as possible, but still we're looking at a 4-week
and there's obviously no guarantee
and no
that they would
guarantee.
get funded as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But again, there's a 4-week turnaround for any applications coming through in that first stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just lastly, final question. Where should people go if they want more information, in case they didn't catch it earlier?
To our website, screenaustralia.gov.au. The enterprise funding is under industry development in the funding and support area of the website. And you can go to People or Business for those two enterprise streams.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Nerida and Bali, for joining me. Also, a reminder to everyone that there are podcasts, feature interviews and video interviews. They're all on Screen News, which you can find on the Screen Australia website. Or, as we were saying before, you can subscribe to our newsletter and you'll get all that content as well as funding announcements and any opportunities that are coming up. It'll be delivered to your inbox every fortnight. Thanks for joining us.